So following up on the Tiffany Henyard situation, we're doing more of a backtrack of what's been happening recently. Recently, we've been to the meetings and we see where we're at now. We have lawsuit after lawsuit. I mean, it's more than I can count on my fingers. You could pick them up and stone them at your friends, probably for a good session of dodgeball, the amount of lawsuits that she has. But anyways, we see the lawsuits, we see the people who aren't getting paid. We're hearing little birds, little tweets of being in debt starting to surface everywhere. Now, would you believe if I told you that everybody saw this coming? Now, when I say everybody saw this coming, I mean everybody. It may have not been the whole board voicing their opinion, but it was a lot of people, especially Mr. Edward Steve. He was talking about it. We had Kiana Belcher. She was voicing her opinion. This is years in the past. So we're going to take a look down memory lane when things were pretty standard. Nothing was too crazy at the time, I would say. And this is when Henyard tried to start pushing bills in without giving people time to really go through it. And you're going to hear that specifically in this video. Let's check it out.
Next on the agenda is approvals. Discussion and approval of ordinance 22- adopting the 2022-2023 annual appropriation ordinance budget. Is there a motion to discuss? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been a motion and second for discussion. Discussion.
Just take a look at her face when she notices, like, not when she notices, but when she says budget, she immediately kind of looks around at the room like, here it comes. But I mean, come on, if you know this is how your people are reacting to it, why not just address it? Why not do things clean for a few years? Why not try and get reelected? Why not try to change things? But I mean, I guess she said her reputation is too fucked at this point. So,
Mayor, if I could be recognized.
Yes.
Okay. My question or my ask would be, last week Thursday I did email a request regarding some of the personnel lines that are within the budget, that those be expounded on, kind of like they were last year. Additionally, there were other non-personnel questions that I have, but I wanted to jumble all those together. So my suggestion is that we push this into a finance committee meeting until we can get further discussion on these items. Thank you.
Okay. So if you got questions, this is the CAL meeting. This is discussion. So I don't see why everybody want to push things further back. You can ask your questions now. The staff is here. They can answer any questions that the board may have. I know that this was on agenda 2 weeks ago, and we stopped and did not have a actual hearing. So this is the hearing that we're having today to talk about the budget.
May I be recognized?
Okay. Well, attorney, just correct me. We did have a hearing, but it went nowhere. So this is the second attempt of a hearing. So if the board members have any discussion regarding any of the items, please ask your questions. Go ahead, trustee.
Before we even get into Miss Belcher, because that sounds like her voice, he was just saying, listen, you notice how she deflects to what's actually being asked? He said he wants to push it down to one more meeting because this is not the proper format to go through an itemized overview of the entire budget. Now, this is not $50,000, $20,000 to do a project. This is millions of dollars, and she's trying to just throw it on you and get it passed. Well, this is the discussion. We're discussing it right now. What are you talking about? You're trying to push things back. No, they want a finance committee meeting, which means the people who handle finances will go through piece by piece by piece by piece. It'll take us a jolly long time to finish that, but that's what we need to do. Well, I mean, that's what he's saying they need to do. But she doesn't answer that question. She deflects and she's just saying, oh, you're trying to push it back. You're not even answering the man's question. So you can already tell this meeting's about to go nowhere. And it's funny, she has her attorney right here on the stand. I don't know if that's part of if that's how the mayor runs her shit, but that doesn't seem normal to me. You guys let me know. Maybe I'm stupid. But let's continue.
Okay. You just said this was a committee of the whole meeting. I thought it was a special board special meeting because we're voting on items. Also, the email that did go out, the trustees house, is in reference to the elaboration of the budget, because it's all summarized and clumped together versus being itemized as it was never responded to by the finance person. There are some concerns on this budget. Once again, we got it on May 2nd, I believe, at 3:26. You wanted us to talk about it and discuss it at a public hearing for the residents. The residents hadn't even been eligible to look at it because we had just got it a couple of hours before the meeting. And then you keep saying contact the department heads for them to get back to us with questions, but nobody, either they're dragging their feet or not getting to us. At this moment right now, I am uncomfortable to even attempt to approve this budget because of what I've seen over the last 10 months has put me into a scare of where we would be by December at the rate that things are going. So,
and that's where we want to pause things right the fuck there. What did she say? At this rate we're going, I don't even want to know where we might be in 10 months. Where are we right now? We're like 2 years in the future. And what's happening? Lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Firms not getting paid. The budget out of fucking whack. So again, people saw this coming. And I know she really wants to get rid of Kiana Belcher. I could feel it radiating off of Henyard. She does not like Belcher, and she shouldn't. She shouldn't like Kiana Belcher because she's the one who's riding her ass the most. So if you were to hate somebody the most, I would say it's probably Kiana and Edward Steve. And where the fuck is he, right? Where is he at? So yeah, these are the people who are trying to hold her accountable, and she does not like this.
So I am not comfortable at all voting on this budget tonight.
Okay. So for the record, we did not ask for a vote. We asked for a discussion. So now, if everybody's up here paying attention, it is discussion to talk about your concerns as a trustee. Number one, you said this is a special meeting. It's a special meeting because there's things that we need to approve. So everybody know when it's a CAL meeting and we want to discuss things, we can put it for discussion or approval. Instead of posting two separate meetings, one being a CAL and one being a special meeting, we just turned the entire meeting into a special board meeting. The Board of Trustees can choose whether they want to vote on it or only discuss. Right now, it is up on the table for discussion only. So if y'all have any questions, you can ask them now. Instead of everybody backpedaling about what department head is not answering or not saying, now's your opportunity to ask them whatever your question may be.
And let's keep in mind, Ms. Henyard, we changed the itemized approach to a summary version. So what I'm understanding is when I look at this piece of paper, instead of seeing little balances and little things that go next to the balance, we're just going to say, oh, $2 million was used for the park construction. The end. In the story. We're not going to say, $100,000 for this, $20,000 for that, about $500,000 to do this and for the labor. And nah, we're just going to summarize it. That's what's outrageous. And it feels like blatant tyranny, like tyranny, however the fuck you want to say it. It feels like blatant, like just misuse of power, just all the things you would want to say. Just, it's the worst form of corruption that I've seen in a long time. Just in your face. Yeah, we're not showing you the budget no more because we don't feel like it.
As it relates to you getting the budget, you said on May 3rd, late. You guys did not. Everyone had the budget prior to. So with that being said, if you got it on May 3rd, today is May 16th. So that means you had ample time to look over the budget, come up with any discussion, questions, or concerns that you may have or want to change in this budget today. You could have done so. So now us pushing it off for another 2 more weeks doesn't make sense to me. All I ask of the Board of Trustees is come prepared for the meetings and come prepared to talk about the business at hand, which is the budget.
Okay. Just a rebuttal, on the agenda, it says discussion and approval. So please don't come at me like I can't read. It says discussion and approval, meaning that if it's discussed and we agree, we would be voting on it tonight. So please don't do that, Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, so trustee, if you read,
getting a little spicy out here, getting a little tapatio sprinkled in on the chips over here. Okay, but trust me, I think her reading level is a little bit higher than Henyard's level. Just saying. I have a sneaking suspicion. Just saying.
You just made a how do I say this to you so you can get it right and put it in layman's term? Put it in layman's
Girl,
term.
bye.
You just made a motion to discuss only. So that means we're doing what? Discussing only. That means there's not a motion on the floor for approval.
That's
So
not.
what
She
I'm
seems like one of those, those high school girls who can't win the argument. So she's just going to like start just shaming you at random things. She's going to say, well, you can't read. Well, you're fat. Well, you don't even have any friends. Like, she's just going to go off topic and start trying to prove little small things about you that doesn't mean anything. That's the type of energy I get off of Henyard. She's just going to go off track and just start talking shit because that's what she's good at.
Max, and again, instead of us going over words, let's talk about the budget. The budget right now, as it stands, is up for discussion for the Board of Trustees to discuss whatever their concerns are as a whole. So obviously you don't have any discussion. So moving on.
No,
Anybody else?
I have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
It's discussion and approval. Last year, we went through every budget item line by line, which takes hours. We cannot pass this without it being public. It's not on the website. This is $26 million of budget, village finances, taxpayers' money that we can't just brush off like it's something easy. All we're asking is to take the time like we did last year. The first year we passed the budget, we sat down right here with the village administrator right there and went through every line with the finance director. All I'm asking is that let's do that again. We've done that for the past 8 years. When we were trustee, we would have to present the budget to the board. It wasn't on a meeting like this. It would be one meeting for the budget, and you went through every line. We're not doing that now. We're not saying we're against the budget. We're just saying be transparent with it. Just be transparent with it. And has it, like the finance director said, go through a finance committee where that be the only one. There's 4 other things on this agenda. We'll be here all night. How we used to do it, how we should do it. You go through every line item to be transparent with taxpayers' money. That's all we're asking. To do it right now, have discussion here. I have 20 questions. You think the resident want to sit here for the next 2 hours for all the questions I got? No, you have a finance committee like we did last year, like we did the year prior. Just be consistent with it. I'm asking for transparency. There's so many things on this budget that we're not okay with. We don't have questions for, but we can't tax the residents here all night with this. So the finance committee, he asked the finance director for certain things. We never got back to us. Be transparent with the money. That's all we're asking. We're not, this administration is not being transparent with the money. They're spending it recklessly. So that's up to us. So if this town is bankrupt in 6 months or 10 months, who's gonna get the blame? Us. We can't even get questions asked because the department heads are scared to even answer our questions. We can't even talk to some of them. So
that's another big thing he was talking about. He said that when you start to talk to department heads in person, they feed their family, and Henyard kind of runs their paycheck. So if you do something she doesn't like, she's bound to do something to you. Maybe you'll lose some hours. Maybe this will happen. Maybe that will happen. So it became a thing to where department heads wouldn't even want to talk to the trustees. What kind of government is that, bro? You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're doing everything by the book. Like, honestly, all of this being said, if Henyard, yeah, I don't know why I blanked there. If Henyard is found innocent of all wrongdoing, she still needs to be voted out, because what type of government is this? It doesn't matter at this point. She could have not stole a dime, $0.00. You have a government run like this? It's a mockery to everything, bro. All the mayors are looking at this shit like, damn. Every mayor from as far as you could think of is looking at this circus show like, shit. Really? I promise you, bro. This shit is looking bad. So, I do think she's stealing money, but even at that point, her reputation is just too. Nobody likes her, and that's not how a good government needs to be run.
So, can we at least be transparent and let's have a finance committee meeting like we did for the past 8 years? A finance committee meeting where we go through our budget line by line, which takes hours. And if we're not going to do that, I'm not passing this today in a vacuum. That's irresponsible on our part. That's what we're responsible for. That's what we got elected to do. So let me do my job, and let's go to a finance committee meeting where it's going to take 2-3 hours to do it. And everybody here is invited to do that. But it's not going to be in this regular board meeting that passes. It's discussion and approval. We can discuss it, but we're not approving it tonight. Do it right. Do it right. There's nothing wrong with doing it right. You demanded that as a trustee to do it right. All I'm saying is do it right, the right thing. We're not against that. Just be transparent with us. If you're not going to be transparent, then what are we doing? If it's always some underhand thing, we find out things after the fact. They're approving $500,000 without board approval. Spending that's going on here is
$500,000 without board approval. What? You know what I'm saying? Again, it's just a summary. We'll give you a summary. You know, figure it out. That's pretty much what we did. You know, we spent about $500K on like some groceries for the whole gang, and you know, Lieutenant Lacey needed a new truck. You know, that nice Dodge Ram, whatever the fuck he's driving around on the streets. You know, he needed that for a little bonus. We just threw a little 30 his way. Help him out. You know, help him out. Help the guy out a little bit. Stop. You know, little things, and that's a huge thing, but little things like 30K could just evaporate under her administration. I'm telling you. Little 30, 20s, and then all of a sudden you're 100K in the deficit. So, oh well, I guess we'll just generalize something. We'll just say the concrete fees were about $1,000 extra per. You know, you can fuck things up when you're in power. You can really make things disappear if you're smart enough. But that's the key word, if you're smart enough. I don't know if Henyard is smart enough to pull this off, which is showing, which is why everything's unraveling.
It's crazy. So all I'm saying is that go to a finance committee meeting like we always done. I repeat myself, for the last few years, we went through it line by line. We can't do it tonight in one line item. It's too much money. It's $26 million to go through. That's all I'm asking. That's all I got to say. We go to a finance meeting and we'll do it right and we'll pass it off. We can't do it tonight. You won't sit here with over $26 million for 2 hours, 3 hours to go through each line item. It won't happen. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Thank you for your concern. So, as relates to us doing it the right way, I stand on transparency. I've done that for 8 years as a trustee, and now in my 1 year as mayor, I've done transparency as well. So when it comes to the budget items, you guys have time to look it over and come to a meeting and be adults about it and see the budget for what it is and ask the questions. You saying it to scare the...
Why are you... It looks like she's reading something, but it's almost like... He's giving you a specific way to do it. So instead of just say general insults, you don't come to meetings, oh, you're not prepared, you don't read, do you know how to read? Instead of going that route, why not at least respond and be like, no, we're not going to do it the itemized version like we've been doing it for the past 8 years because we found a better way. And this is our better way. Like I've said, and then she explains it. But she never really answers a question. She just, I don't know, I guess deflects it. That's the best way you could use it. She just deflects and says that they're lazy and that they should have brought it up and they're being children. Be adults about this. Just pass the $26 million. Stop worrying about it. Shit. If you, I was going to say something. No, I'm not going to say it. Let's continue.
Public, I'm trying to word it the right way. You're trying to scare the public into, oh, we got one night to go over this. If you guys wanted to have a committee meeting or any other type of meeting, you could have called it. Don't get here at this actual meeting and act as though someone's trying to push something down your throat. All I'm asking, if you had 20 questions, why didn't you submit 20 questions to any other department head so they could answer the questions that you needed answered? You did not do that. But we get here and then we grandstand for the people. Everybody in the whole entire world have budgets. None of them do the things that we do here. Just because you guys did it in...
She says this word so often it's starting to lose meaning to me. Let me look up the fucking word. Define grandstand. Grandstanding. Let's just say the whole thing. The action of behaving in showy or ostentatious manner in an attempt to attract favorable attention from spectators of the media. I'm not saying that the trustees don't want to look good in front of the crowd. They probably want to be the next mayor. Like, who fucking knows? Who knows their little side agenda? I'm not saying any of these other people are saints, but this is not grandstanding. Or it's the truth with like 2% grandstanding. You know, just a little flavor, a little salt for the food. A little 2% some grandstanding. But like, come on now. Like, come on now. You're stealing money and we're, come on.
In the past, don't make it right. Once you learn and you know to do better, you always going to do better. But right now, you want to do things the way you've done it in the past. And unfortunately, everything you've done in the past was not right, Trustee Steves. So what I'm asking again, if it's something that you need clarity of, want us to answer, you could ask myself. And I say this all the time. And you guys do not reach out to me about any concerns that you may have. But when we get to a board meeting, this is what we do. Think about it. We ain't talking about one line item about this budget. We're going back and forth over who said what, about what we should do. Could we had a finance meeting? I could have did that. Could have called a special meeting and actually talked about the budget if that's what y'all choose to do. But we get here and no one wants to talk about the actual business at hand, which is the budget. We're going back and forth over nothing. So we're not going to discuss the budget. There's no need to waste any more other people's time as we talk about the things on the agenda. We might as well go ahead, pass it along, and go to the next agenda item. Does the Board of Trustees want to pass on the budget and move on to the next line item?
No, I got one more thing to say.
Go ahead. Is it about the budget?
Yes, about the budget.
No, he said he has one more thing to say about the budget. See, you don't listen. All you know how to do is talk. That's why your mouth is so big, because all you do is fucking speak. Talk shit. Her breath probably stink from the amount of shit she's inhaling with that big ass mouth just talking. Do you think this ends right here? Guys, she told you herself, she doesn't sleep. She's always on the job. She always on the job with that big ass grin. Come on now. She's out here, man. She loves the sound of her voice. Absolutely adores it.
Go ahead.
This administration got handed off a great financial a town because the previous administration, with Trustee House, with myself, we went through the budget. We had financial audits. The reason why this town is in the financial condition it's in, because we took our time with the budget. That's all I'm asking is what we did the past 8 years obviously worked because the financial condition is much better than it was 8 years ago. And I was a part of that, and she was a part of that. I think hardly, but she was a part of it, and Trustee House was a part of it. All I'm saying is not about ramming it through. All I'm saying, we got to take our time to do it right, period. And the things that we've done 8 years ago, that's how you was able to inherit such a financially sound town. And the money that we spent on this town was because they put reserves in. You got the sewage fund that we spayed out of, that we got the sewage truck out of. We did things at Public Works. We got a front load. We spent almost $1 million because of things that the previous administration put in place. And all I'm saying, I'm trying to follow that because that actually worked. And it's in a good place now. And I want to continue that going. That's one good thing that came from the last administration, period.
Okay. So I'm going to say this. That's untrue. At the last administration, we had Matt Stacy, who did not manage that department correctly. But with my leadership, my direction on how to do the budget, along with Stacy Carrell, Public Works is back on track. Public Works is doing what they're supposed to have been doing a year ago before I became mayor. So stop with the previous administration. The previous administration made a lot of mistakes. The previous administration is what.
So that's pretty much, Steve's and Henyard's situation. There's, everybody pretty much is on the same page except for Miss Hen. So I'm going to move us over to another trustee and what she has to say.
The actual budget, let's talk. If we do not, let's move on so we get through our agenda and everybody can go home. Do anybody got anything about the budget?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead, trustee.
Okay, so Mayor, let's first. This is about the people, okay? This is $26 million in tax.
I almost forgot her name, the lovely Miss Brittany Norwood. We got her out here speaking up, giving her mind. But it's like, honestly, I feel like it's the same thing across all the trustees for the most part. And when that's happening, that's when the mayor, I think, should actually take the moment, even if they're being irrational, but take the moment. A lot of them are saying the exact same thing with a different twist to it. Why don't we show them a little leverage? Why don't we show them a little something? But my opinion is a lot of this money is already spent. So she can't give them any leverage. She can't show them a little something on the budget, what they want, because it's not gonna make sense. FBI, we waiting on you, man. We waiting on you guys. Let's continue.
Taxpayers' money that we're spending. It's not about us. So when you're talking about spending such a large lump sum, it's best and responsible for us to do it the correct way. Last year, I heard you say something about the previous administration. I don't want to talk about the previous administration. I like to talk about last year, how we did it. Last year, the village administrator at the time sat down with the and said, hey, let's discuss if you all want something in particular added to the budget. What are you all's thoughts? From there, you all proceeded to get the budget approved, and we said then, hey, that's fine, but let's have a finance committee meeting like we've done forever. As a resident, I appreciated the fact that the village took time to explain to us how the taxpayers' money is being spent. It's important. So when you say, okay, well, we can have these meetings or we can do this later, no, let's just do it the right way. Let's have a finance committee meeting where, because we have questions. We see that these items on this budget are bundled. We don't want to vote on something that's bundled when we're not exactly clear on what's what. So why not just have a finance committee?
See, and those, I'm telling you guys, those bundles are the sauce of everything. That's the spice of life right there. The bundles is the business that you guys shouldn't know about. So shut the fuck up, stop grandstanding, and let's get this fucking budget passed so we could get this little extra 2 million, this little extra 5 million over to the side, and we could do what we do. Like, why do you want to fuck up our party? Like, why you want to fuck things up for us? Okay, everybody's getting dealt with. Let us steal 5 million real quick. I swear to God, that's how Henyard thinks. That's literally how she thinks.
Meeting where we have it with the residents, explain it to the residents so they understand how we're spending their money, so that we can all go about the budget the right way, and we're clear on how it's being spent. That's all. We're just saying, hey, let's be clear. Let's have a finance committee meeting. Let's discuss it line by line, so all residents have a chance to know exactly how we're spending their money, and let's go from there and move forward with approving the budget. We did the same thing last year. Last year, you all brought it to us, but you didn't bring it to a finance committee meeting. You didn't want to discuss it with the people, and we denied it. We said to you all then, hey, we are not approving this budget unless we go over it with the people, the residents. It's their money. Let's go over it with them and then approve it. And that's what we did last time. After you all decided, after we denied it, you all decided to let it go to a finance committee meeting. We approved it after everyone understood exactly what we're approving. We're just saying, let's do the same thing this year. Take it to a finance committee meeting so it's all detailed and go forward with approving it. That's it. So I just want to make it clear. There's no argument. There's just a discussion on the seriousness of spending $26 million of the taxpayers' money. I don't think it's...
Yeah, see, this is not no little bit of money. And even she was explaining over smaller things, we've had little meetings to understand it. So everybody's on the same page. But I mean, this is blatantly obvious that I've used the word blatantly like 6 times this video. It's pretty obvious that she can't let them see the budget in detail. She cannot let them do that. It's out of her hands in terms of she will probably go to jail if she lets them do that. So now she's got to figure out what to do, which is why she can't give like real answers to this. You know, she'll kind of combat you and everything else, but when it comes to budget, she'll just say, well, you could have asked us this. Oh, why don't you ask the department heads? Fuck the department heads. Let's go pull out the projector, let's throw it on the wall real quick, well, however you want to do it, and let's read this shit. It's not that hard. What does it take, a day?
Just something that we should rush. We should just do it the right way. So that's my comment, Mayor. I just feel as if we should just do it the right way. There's no going back and forth. The taxpayer should be clear on what we're spending. As a trustee, I like to be clear with explaining to them what they're spending, and I like to be clear on when I'm approving what I'm spending. So thank you, Mayor. That's that for the budget.
Okay. So for the record, you guys have ample time to approve the budget. You guys have these fake meetings that y'all could have easily put the budget onto your agenda to talk about it if you want to talk about transparency. You guys chose not to. Yet you get here and wait a whole nother 2 months before wanting to even think about passing the budget. You guys had a finance meeting last month. Did you put it on the agenda? You guys did not. So stop pointing the finger and take responsibility at your job as trustees to make sure you do what you're supposed to do. You guys are not doing that. You're talking about transparency, but you guys are not being transparent, period. I wish you guys would stop pointing the finger and do the will of the people.
You guys would love this one as a girlfriend, huh? You'll probably end the gaslighting is crazy. Now we're not transparent. Whoa. Shit, maybe I'm not transparent. Fuck. You know, clearly we're not that stupid, but she's trying it. She's like, let me turn on the gas and light it real quick. Let me try a little gaslighting a little bit. Let's see if it works. Let's see if the people, the only one who's grandstanding, honestly, is Henyard. She's trying to get the masses to like her, because the people on the trustee board, she knows they don't like her. It's that ship has sailed. She's the only one grandstanding, trying to make the public like her still, because no one who matters likes her, except for the people who she's paying. Let me add that little part in there.
which is put it on the agenda, discuss it, and go over it. As relates to last year, we did not go line by line by line on a budget. You would be there all day. People picked out what they wanted to talk about and discuss, and we discussed it. We changed it. We did whatever we wanted to do as related to adding it to the budget or removing it. That's what we did last year. So if you guys want to do that again, you can call a special meeting. There's no need to wait 2 more weeks to have another meeting in order to talk about the budget. If you guys want to keep kicking the can down the road, by all means, go right ahead. It's at your discretion. You are the Board of Trustees. Now, I would like to move on to the next agenda item, which is discussion and approval of proposed inducement resolution for 300 West Sibley project. Attorney Faselli.
Thank you, Mayor.
And that was pretty much it for the budget. You could tell she was feeling that heat. I feel like she kind of wanted to just end it as soon as she could. She was not liking the flames, the questions that they had for her. You know, she was like, all right, you know what? Yeah, enough with the grandstanding. Let's move forward. But I just wanted to point that out to you guys. Saw this one, and I was like, yeah, they were foreshadowing what was going to happen. And guess what? Now we're in 2024, and it's all unraveling. Almost just like, you know, now the city is probably bankrupt. They don't got no money. Now they got to figure out how they're going to pay money back when everything finally gets released. They're going to figure out what happened. Then they're going to try to reallocate the money. It's going to be tough. The city is going to be in a serious situation after her administration is done. But I mean, I guess that's politics for you, huh? But anyways, folks, I love you guys. I'm going to see you in the next one. You already know the deal. Stay inside. Stay safe. I'm going to see you in the next one. I'm out of here.